continue. My colleague Griselda Lewis is standing by. Griselda, it's over to you.
Okay, I need to get out of shot.
All right, we haven't managed to get Griselda. I have with me Lavan Gopaul. He's the director at Merchant Africa. He has done it all. He's done economics, he's done markets, so he can speak to many issues that we can expect to come out of the budget. The heat is literally on. Literally, it's very hot here in Cape Town, but also metaphorically, the heat is on. Finance Minister to deliver a balanced budget that managed to address issues that South Africans need dealt with for now and our future. So let me continue this conversation with Lavan Gopaul. Thank you very much, Lavan, for joining us. So the Finance Minister, as usual, is in a very difficult spot. He's under a new dispensation, the Government of National Unity, and passing a budget is not as easy as it once was. The 2 percentage point increase that was discussed 3 weeks ago or so, that looks like it's off the table. Do you expect that there's going to be some sort of compromise? And if there isn't, where will the Finance Minister be able to raise the kind of money that he was looking for, approximately 60 billion rand extra?
So good to speak to you again, Nompu. And yes, I think we are going to run into another deficit budget, unlikely to see any new funding, most probably a 1% VAT. And I'm sure the different parties have had a chance to talk about it in these past 3 weeks. That 2% would have added 60 billion to a revenue of almost 2 trillion or thereabouts. We expect that they will need to spend about 2.4 trillion. So you're going to see that 400 billion having to come from somewhere. We're already sitting in a high debt environment. At this stage, almost 75% of our GDP consists of debt, and something like 22 cents in every rand goes through to pay for the interest and the servicing of that debt. So unfortunately, you're going to see a much more increase in debt, and it's unlikely that we'll find new revenue sources. Some of the thoughts that we've looked at and fresh ideas, Regulation 28 of the Pension Fund Act, which allows for pension funds to make investments into infrastructure. Now, this is something that the president already spoke about, and there may be more pressure on delivery on this end. If that happens, you're going to see some sort of relief in terms of the budget spend. Certainly, it is something that will create jobs. And as we look around, because of a underfunded budget, we are seeing cracks in infrastructure. So we definitely need that kind of spend.
So one of the things that is very crucial in the budget is that the Finance Minister will tell us what National Treasury's growth projections are. So in the budget that wasn't tabled, they had projected that economic growth for 2024 would be 0.8%. We got the information from Stats SA, it came in at 0.6%. And that was despite the fact that we had 9 months of no load shedding, right? So we still didn't manage to grow. So then in terms of the average, over the midterm, the next 3 years, in the budget that wasn't tabled, they anticipated average growth of 1.8%. Do you expect, given the number that we got for 2024, 0.6%, they're going to have to adjust downwards their growth projections? Because otherwise it means they say they're expecting us to grow by double last year.
I think it's going to be difficult for us to meet those expectations, and certainly we're going to have to do things differently. Let's do a comparison, and you saw China grow by 7 and 8% for almost a decade. At the moment, you're seeing 3 or 4 years of 7 and 8% growth in India. And for South Africa, as the leading light on the continent of Africa, to be growing by a paltry 0.6 or 0.8% doesn't really match up to the big emerging markets as well as our BRICS partners. I think therein lies our solution. If we are able to trigger huge amounts of growth by somehow changing productivity, possibly new investment, possibly local talent that are more more entrepreneurial, you're likely to then see us generate more tax revenue, grow this economy, and create more jobs. Bear in mind that growth figure is so closely linked to the 8 million unemployed that are in South Africa, that more than 33% of the country unemployed, and that's a technical number. Real unemployment may be north of this number. Let's also appreciate the fact that this budget that will be tabled today, and including the midterm budget or last year's budget, had a strong leaning to social spending. And there is a need for social spending. In this low growth environment, in this high unemployment environment, we need to provide the childcare grants, the pensions for elderly, the social grants that came out of COVID. And unfortunately, that has been something of a must. And all of this closely linked to the point that you make of slow growth.
Yeah. All right, Lavan, we're going to pause it there for now. I still have you in seat, your hours for the next hour or so.